Because humanity is in crisis, which has both revealed and worsened some of the darker sides.
All of a sudden, he gets hit with a $260 million lawsuit from Derek Dixon, who met Tyler Perry in 2019 as an employee of an event company.
So you were saying how much you don't like the fact that Tyler Perry's being dragged in the mud by Cat Williams because he did a lot of things for black people, right?
Yes, because I feel like Tyler Perry did all the roles that he played, not just Medea. He did all the roles good. As a man, as a woman, he did all good. He's just not gonna say Tyler Perry is only good for Medea. He did other as roles. Like I said, once again, he did the brother Joe. He did his epic, bro. He's funny. That's why Medea put him to continue with that.
Have you ever seen that movie Joe Goes to Jail?
Humanity is living through a tense and uncertain era, one that has not only revealed deep fractures in society, but has also amplified some of the darker realities that often remain hidden beneath the surface. In moments like this, public figures become symbols of larger cultural debates, and the entertainment industry, especially Black Hollywood often, becomes a battleground for questions about power, representation, accountability, and legacy. That is why the recent headlines surrounding Tyler Perry has spread so rapidly. According to reports, Perry is now facing a staggering $260 million lawsuit filed by actor Derek Dixon, a man who says he first met Perry in 2019 while working for an event company. What began as a professional encounter allegedly evolved into auditions, acting opportunities, and eventually, Dixon claims, an escalating pattern of inappropriate behavior tied to Perry's influence and control within his studio empire. The lawsuit itself has become fuel for online commentary, speculation, and viral storytelling. But what has made this situation even more complicated is the way the internet has woven unrelated narratives into the controversy. One of the most circulated claims suggests that Forest Whitaker has somehow revealed why the biggest actors in Hollywood refuse to work with Tyler Perry. At first glance, that headline feels believable. Whitaker is one of the most respected and quietly influential actors of his generation, known for choosing meaningful, layered roles and avoiding the loud spectacle of celebrity drama. Perry, meanwhile, is one of the most powerful black creators alive, but also one of the most polarizing. His work has inspired loyalty and criticism in equal measure. So when people see Whitaker's name placed next to Perry's, it creates the illusion of some major exposure or hidden truth finally being spoken aloud. But the reality is far more subtle. Forest Whitaker has never publicly accused Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry, how you feel about the allegations he being accused of?
We got to deal with Tyler. We got to deal with Tyler. When you talk about the jealousy that the music industry has for black men, it's insane, bro. It's insane. Tyler Perry goes to the BET Awards. He gives a speech, and he's an excellent orator, by the way. I'm an orator. I study oratory. Tyler Perry could have been a pastor or community activist. He's a very good speaker, very good public speaker. He says that I've made more millionaires than every other studio in this city combined. That's what he said. And don't you know, I don't know if it was the next day, but it was definitely the same week. All of a sudden, he gets hit with a $260 million lawsuit from Derek Dixon, who met Tyler Perry in 2019 as an employee of an event company. So he was working at one of the events that Tyler Perry contracted this event company to come to and host. He met Tyler Perry there. Tyler Perry invited him to audition for an upcoming show called Ruthless. Later on, Tyler Perry tells him, allegedly, according to Derek Dixon's attorney, Tyler Perry told him, I can change your life. Stick with me, I could change your whole life. He then invites him to audition for a role on The Oval, Tyler Perry series The Oval. Derek Dixon stars in 85 episodes of The Oval between 2020 or 2021 until 2024, 2025. In January of 2020, Art, right before COVID, Tyler Perry allegedly texts Derek Dixon and says, among other things, I can't remember the last time I had really good. Now, as a heterosexual male, if another man sends me a text telling me he can't remember the last time he had good, I already know that ain't somebody I need to be around alone.
Of wrongdoing. He has never told actors to avoid working with him, and he has never issued some dramatic statement exposing Perry or condemning his productions. What Whitaker has done, instead, through his career choices, his activism, and his consistent philosophy is critique the broader entertainment system that rewards speed, control, and stereotype over depth, dignity, and long-term cultural impact. Online commentators often take Whitaker's quiet critiques of Hollywood and blend them into Tyler Perry's controversies, creating a narrative that feels direct but is actually constructed through inference. The story isn't about Whitaker attacking Perry, it's about what Whitaker represents in contrast to Perry's model. Forest Whitaker has built his career on restraint and intention. He rarely chases headlines, avoids public feuds, and almost never names names when criticizing the industry. Instead, his message shows up in the projects he chooses and the causes he supports. His films often explore the psychological cost of oppression, moral conflict, and the humanity inside people trapped in systems larger than themselves. Off-screen, his work as a UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador reflects a commitment to healing, empowerment, reconciliation, and dignity for communities damaged by violence and exploitation. Whitaker's values emphasize elevation of consciousness, complexity of Black life, and storytelling that challenges audiences rather than simply entertaining them. That approach naturally stands apart from an entertainment model that relies heavily on exaggerated trauma, recycled archetypes, or one-dimensional character dynamics. This is where Tyler Perry's work enters the conversation. For years, critics have raised concerns about the patterns in Perry's storytelling, particularly around stereotypes, gender dynamics, and colorism. Spike Lee was one of the first major voices to openly criticize Perry's films, arguing that they reinforced caricatures rather than dismantling them. Over time, other public figures echoed similar discomfort, even if more subtly. Chris Rock, for example, has pointed out broader patterns in media where darker-skinned Black men are often portrayed as abusive, unstable, or morally broken, while lighter-skinned characters are framed as safer, more redeemable, or more sympathetic. These critiques resonate because repetition shapes perception, and actors understand that a single role can follow them for decades. For performers who have spent their careers trying to break free from narrow boxes, stepping into another damaging archetype can feel like moving backward rather than forward. The issue is not simply whether Perry's stories reflect real life, as defenders often argue, but whether constant repetition turns representation into conditioning. When certain images appear again and again, they begin to feel less like isolated narratives and more like a cultural script. Actors are deeply aware of this. They know that audiences often do not separate character from identity, and that the roles they accept contribute to the larger picture of how Black people are seen and understood. For many A-list actors who prioritize legacy, nuance, and long-term impact, Perry's scripts can feel predictable in their power dynamics, making them artistically risky even when they are commercially successful. Beyond representation, Tyler Perry's production model has raised its own set of concerns. His speed is legendary. Entire seasons of television have reportedly been filmed in extremely short time frames, and while efficiency is praised in business, creativity rarely thrives under relentless pressure. Acting, writing, and directing often require time for rehearsal, time for collaboration, time for revision, and space for nuance. Several actors and writers have suggested that Perry's environment leaves little room for creative input, because Perry often writes, directs, produces, and controls nearly everything within his ecosystem. For some performers, especially established ones, that concentration of power can feel limiting. When one voice dominates the entire process, disagreement becomes difficult and artistic complexity can suffer. Hollywood is also an industry where reputation travels quietly but powerfully. Rumors of toxic working conditions do not always reach headlines, but they circulate within professional circles. Once a set is labeled rushed, dismissive, or creatively restrictive, top talent becomes hesitant. And unlike struggling actors who may accept any opportunity, major actors have options. They can wait for projects that align with their values and offer healthier environments. In that sense, the refusal to work with Perry is rarely personal. It is often philosophical and practical. No dramatic boycott is announced. Instead, silence and absence become the message. This backdrop is why the Derek Dixon lawsuit has landed with such force. Dixon alleges that Perry used his power and influence to pressure him into unwanted advances, promising or implying career opportunities in exchange for compliance. The complaint reportedly includes screenshots of text messages and descriptions of incidents that Dixon says escalated over time. moving from suggestive communication into physical boundary violations. Perry has not been found guilty of anything, and these remain allegations that will be tested through the legal process. Still, the lawsuit has reignited broader conversations about power, consent, and exploitation in entertainment, especially when access to opportunity is controlled by one dominant figure. The internet, however, often turns complex legal and cultural issues into simplified morality plays. Some commentators frame Dixon as purely opportunistic, while others frame Perry as automatically guilty. The truth is that these situations are rarely so simple, and courts exist precisely because allegations must be proven.
Because if Tyler Perry can prove, allegedly, that him and Derek Dixon engaged in any type of consensual change, I think this case can be thrown out. I think the argument can be made that you was engaged in consensual relations with Mr. Perry, and because you didn't get what you wanted to out of this Gabrielle Zuniga and Jane Doe 1, Jane Doe 2, Jane Doe 3, and Jane Doe 4 for Smokey Robinson, you decided to try to exploit him in the courts for money because you know he's wealthy. So if Tyler can prove that any of this was consensual, I think this case can get thrown out. Why? Because you was around this man for 4.5 years, Art, almost 5 years, and you never did anything about his advancements. Pulling your pants down, grabbing your booty, asking you if you like to be a top or a bottom, asking you about your relations with other men, saying he jealous seeing you around other men. There was too much harassment, allegedly, for you to have not done nothing in nearly 5 years. So if Tyler Perry can prove that they had relations, Art, I think this gets thrown out. Now, if Tyler Perry can't prove that, here's where I stand on this suit. First of all, $260 million is ridiculous. That's number one. But number two, Art, I believe that Derek Dixon would have become Tyler Perry's lover if Tyler Perry gave him what he wanted. If Tyler Perry would have gave him his own show, I think he becomes his lover. Because according to Derek Dixon, Tyler Perry allegedly told him that he wants a male lover who will keep quiet and not become emotionally attached. He claims Tyler Perry told him, I don't have enough time to get emotionally involved in a relationship. So I'm looking for somebody I can smash and dash, who keep their mouth shut and don't get all emotional with me because I ain't got time for that. So basically, he kind of wanted a boy toy. Derek Dixon doesn't seem like he really made it clear to him that he was not going to be that. Here's where I think Tyler Perry messed up. Like I said, he didn't take care of him, Art, but in addition to that, Derek Dixon was not going to be no cheap hoe. He was not going to be no cheap hoe. That's like, Art, you dating a woman and a woman says, you ain't getting these panties until you buy me a car. And you keep trying to get the panties, She said, I'm not giving you no panties until you buy me a car. You buy her the car, you get the panties. If you don't buy the car, you don't get the panties. I simply think Derek Dixon was not a cheap hoe, Art. Tyler Perry didn't keep his end of the bargain, so he never let him smash. Period. Tyler Perry thought he was going to get him before he fulfilled his part of the bargain. Derek Dixon wasn't a cheap hoe. He said, you ain't going to play me cheap. You're going to give me my own show, and if you don't, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep all the text messages. I'm going to keep all the exchange. Just like the Mexicans with Smokey, just like Gabrielle with Shannon, I'm going to keep all the information, Art. And if I don't get my own show, guess what I'm going to do? Run to the lawyers and sue you for $260 million. These wealthy black men, Art, need to learn. You cannot deal with non-African women the way you deal with African women. Our sisters are burdened by racism. They are burdened by negative stereotypes from slavery that have never been true of them. Our sisters have never been Jezebels. It was the slave master who sought after our women and they didn't pursue them. But that's the stereotype that America has carried for 400 years. And every black woman who goes into court seeking justice against a perpetrator has to deal with the fact that people see her as promiscuous. Mexican women ain't got to worry about that. Caucasian women ain't got to worry about that. Chinese women ain't got to worry about that. Arabs ain't got to worry about that. East Indians ain't got to worry about that. So these wealthy black men need to understand you can't deal with non-African lovers the way you deal with queens. And our queen shouldn't be mistreated at all. I'm just drawing a comparison here. Tyler Perry, Smokey Robinson, Shannon Sharp, you're messing up. Get your act together.
Through evidence, not through public opinion alone. What is undeniable, though, is that the case adds another layer to the long-standing discomfort some artists have expressed about Perry's empire. The fear that when one person controls careers, silence becomes survival and speaking out becomes dangerous. So when headlines claim, Forest Whitaker refused to work with Tyler Perry, they miss the deeper truth. Whitaker did not expose Perry with words. He represents a different lane entirely. He embodies a vision of black success that does not rely on stereotype, speed, or commercial repetition, but on depth, dignity, and quiet integrity. The real reason many actors keep their distance from Perry is not hidden in one viral clip or one shocking interview. It lives in years of criticism about representation, colorism, rushed production culture, creative control, and the unspoken reputations that circulate privately in Hollywood. Tyler Perry's influence is undeniable. He changed the business landscape and built opportunities where few existed. But power does not shield anyone from critique. And as Black Hollywood evolves, expectations evolve too. Artists with long-term visions are becoming more selective about what they attach their names to. In that sense, the story is not about one man revealing secrets. It is about an industry slowly redefining its standards, one silent decision at a time. The question now is whether Hollywood will continue rewarding speed and stereotypes, or whether it will finally embrace the depth and dignity that artists like Forest Whitaker quietly demand.